Iburu, Iboya, Ibuche, everybody in Cyberland. It's your favorite Babalao. At least I hope so. Umodum, Dileke, coming at you with a public service announcement. Right? And this is serious, all right? Because there's some information I really want to put out there. Because I think enough's enough, right? But before we do that, do me a favor, give me the like, give me the subscribe. If you want to share it, please do. Last I looked, we're one away from 1,000, which means we get the community tab, and I think I've hit home already what that means for us as a community to learn, to learn, to learn. So let me just jump right into it. So it breaks my heart when I hear stories about how people are getting robbed. Okay, and I'm gonna call it what it is. I'm gonna call it, a wolf in sheep's clothing. I'm gonna call it a snake in the grass. And they take advantage of those who don't have that much understanding of the faith. There's a lot of people out there that will do just about anything for money. So a couple of things need to be understood straight from the door. There's rules. And if you follow these rules, I think you're going to be successful on identifying the no kidding, who knows, who doesn't know. 1, I posted a video on godparents, and I want everyone to look at it. Whether you're going to get initiated into something, whether you're going to go get a consultation, whether you're going to go get a spiritual mass, go look at that. Just look at it, because it gives you an idea of the type of people that you truly want to deal with at the end of the day. The second video, I posted a video that's labeled Spiritual Journeys. Please, please, please take a look at that video as well. So first off, let's look at the 2 videos. All right, that's 1. 2, if you have committed yourself to a spirit guide or an elder, let's say you're not initiated, or let's say you are initiated, and the constant answer is, we must do a blood sacrifice, and that's the answer every single time to resolve a problem, then I want you to question that. I think that is very important for you to understand why. And the backstory to that is because not everything requires a blood sacrifice. The strongest ebos, because an ebo is something that in a consultation it comes out that is something you need to do in order to resolve or remove a barrier in a solbu of some sort. The biggest, and ebo means sacrifice, and the biggest sacrifice that you can give is the ability of your time and your effort and what's in your heart. The biggest ebos. Doesn't matter how many animals you sacrifice. All right? The strongest ebos are the ones that come from the heart. And they can be something simple as an egg, a piece of fruit, an offering of some sort. Okay? Now there are complicated ebos that are necessary for medicine, for initiations, for more complicated issues that are going on that have seriously interrupted the energy flow that you have going on. Those things must be understood. So please, right, watch the videos is number 1, and number 2 is, if every ebo requires a blood sacrifice, man, we need to truly start asking the questions why. And I'm not saying that the person that gave you the consultation and marked the ebo is wrong. I am not saying that. But I'm saying that you should at least, right, think about it, all right? Look a little deeper. The next thing, when it comes to initiations, whether it is in the cult of Ifa, the cult of Ocha, the cult of Palo, the cult of, we can name it all day, hoodoo, voodoo, spiritualism, okay? everything has a base. And the base begins with first understanding the philosophy of our faith. I need you to learn that first. I need you to learn how were the humans made? How was the universe created? Because once you start to understand the philosophy of our faith, you can begin to point out the right and the wrongs in a lot of different things. It becomes a lot clearer. So what's the next rule? I want you to learn the foundation before you start getting into other things. Before you get roped into any of these cults, okay? Any of them. I need you to learn the foundation. And if you're still adamant that you are ready to jump in and get initiated, then great. Then do it. But do it with the starter ceremony, which is you receiving your warriors and your mano de orula. That is your foundation. That is your foundation right there. And then you can venture in the directions you want to venture. Because orula will give you your sign. Orula will tell you what's a good idea and what's a bad idea in your spiritual journey. So if you're adamant about jumping in and getting your initiation, it's your warriors, your mano de orula. If you have time and you want to do this a little bit better and you want to focus a little bit, then learn the philosophy. Find yourself a spiritual guide, somebody who can teach you philosophy. And that's what that community tab is going to do. I'm going to start to teach you some more of those philosophies so you can kind of understand the stories and why we are where we are today. Okay, so now we talked about it, right? So we talked about the videos. We talked about if it bulls always blood sacrifices, right? We talked about understanding the foundations, the philosophies before you start jumping in. And if you are going to jump in, understand the differences. So now, let's say you are going to jump in, all right? Understand that there is different lines, okay? There's different lines that must be followed. And the three primary lines that we typically deal with a lot, and a lot of times I get a lot of emails on or I talk to people about, is going to be the Palo line, the Ocha line, and the Ifa line, all right? It's like an umbrella, right? An umbrella has a bunch of little hooks, right, that kind of grab the fabric and it covers you, right? But on the tip, everything is all the same. In our faith, that tip is God. God is always on top. And then there's different angles on how we get to our spiritual growth and journey. All right? What does that mean? That means that one of those lines has to stay within those lines. Eventually, they will connect. For example, if you go through a spiritual mass and you're dealing with mediums and you're dealing with espirititas and stuff like that, then there's a spiritual crowning ceremony that they can do to kind of sit and kind of more explore who is your spirit guides. What is your cuadro espiritual, which is your spiritual frame of which egums are walking with you, right? But that takes time. That takes multiple masses. So if you think you're going to get it in one and you're going to fully understand everything, you're not. Right? That's one line right there. But you notice I didn't say anything else other, about getting consecrated or blood sacrifices. No. I say misa espiritual. Misa espiritual has set rules. It's very pure. It's very clean. Communicating with the egums. It's a very beautiful experience. And if it's not, that's a different problem. Now we got a problem, right? Because something is off, right? All right. The next thing, and I'm not gonna get too much deep into these because as a bawala, I want to stay in my lane, right? No different than I'm telling you guys. Everything has its lane, right? And even though I may have knowledge, or if I crossed over or I didn't cross over, all that is irrelevant. Right now, today, I am Ifa. Let's talk about Palo. Okay? First things first. In Palo, you are getting scratched. There's something called a tata, right? There's a spiritual leader of a Palo house, an Egum house, right? That's gonna reveal the secrets of the Egums in a different aspect of things. Right? So they scratch you, you do your thing, right? That is a tata. That is not a godfather. A godfather is one that is related to an omo oni, which means the head. And in Palo, you're never crowned. That doesn't exist. Okay? It doesn't exist. All right? 3 things run in your head. You have Ipaku, you got your Ori, and you got your guardian Orisha. Or some people may call it guardian Ocha. So in Palo, you're getting, it's a different coat of eguns. And there's different things that happen in Palo. But you notice what I said again. That is Palo. Palo is dealing with eguns. Okay? Now, there is some aspects of Ocha Orisha worship that may kind of cross over into Palo, but Palo will never cross over into Orisha worship. Therefore, Paleros stick to Palo, stick to eguns. They don't give you Orishas. Is that fair? They don't initiate you with warriors and Mano de Orula. Is that fair? Espiritistas are not going to do the same thing either. Okay? Espiritistas with their mesa espirituales, Palos with their eguns. Now we talk about Ocha. Ocha is Ocha. Ocha is not going to give you Mano de Orula. Okay? Ocha has the capability of giving you warriors, but warriors are different from warriors in Ocha and warriors in Ifa. And you need to understand the differences there. Alright? Now, we talk about the ceremony of like collares. That is an Ocha thing. Because it is beginning to move you past your pack of a godparent, godchild relationship, because you're soon going to hit the next step one day of getting crowned. So the collares ceremony begins to seal that deal and begin to meld that relationship. Okay? Ifa. I'm a babalao. I'm not an oba. I'm not going to be directing any Ocha ceremonies, because that's not my place. The crownings happen with Ocha. Now, do Ochas and Babalaos work hand in hand? Absolutely. Can a Santero Santera move to Ifa? Absolutely. But they left that land, and then they go to Ifa. And then we leave Ocha with Ocha, because we want to make sure that those lines are delineated and they don't cross over when they don't need to cross over. Does a Babalao help during an Ocha ceremony? Yes. Okay? Absolutely. But I'm not directing the Ocha ceremony. Okay? Can a Santero Santera also be a palero? Yes. Can a Piritita also be a palero? Yes. Can a Piritita also be crowned and be an Ocha? Yes. But the line of responsibilities and the actions that we are conducting at that very moment defines what we can and cannot do. There are rules. There are rules. We got to start putting eyes on that and making sure that we don't get caught up in things that we don't get caught up in. So the big thing is here, it's a lot of information, right? And no one ever truly knows what right and wrong mean. So I'm just giving you general awareness. If you see a babalao, okay, a babalao with green and yellow throwing caracoles, seashells, run for the hills. Not gonna happen. Don't do it. You see a babalao getting mounted in a misa espiritual, run for the hills. Something's off. Something's wrong. Okay? You see a palero trying to give you Ocha tools or Orisha tools and say, here's an Elewa or here. No. Run for the hills. Run. You see a babalao directing an Ocha ceremony, I think you should question it. Because that is one of those debatable things in our faith. If you see an Oba, a Santero, giving you Mano de Orula or warriors, you need to question it. Hey, those warriors. Well, what are those warriors? And And you need to question it too to make sure that you understand what you are receiving. Are you receiving warriors from Babalawo, or are you receiving warriors from Ocha? Because it matters. It matters. Because all those things take certain instructions on how to build, develop, and connect to you. Remember I told you in your head, Ori, Guardian Orisha, or Ocha, depending how you want to say it, Ipaku. Okay? Food for thought. Food for thought. But keep an eye out. And don't trust easy. This faith is a serious business. And it can destroy your house. Things that you've worked for all your life. And because someone, based on greed, maybe always asking you for money, or you got to do that, you never know what you're getting yourself into. So that's very important. Understand, or at least try to understand, or at least reach out so that we can help you understand a little bit. Send a comment, send an email. My email is posted on my intro on YouTube, la.regla.de.ifa@gmail.com. La.regla.de.ifa@gmail.com, with just dots in between. Right? I'm here for you guys, 100%. But please, 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 there's do's and don'ts. And those are the do's and don'ts that I really wanted to give to you guys. That's that public service announcement. After a while, after many years of hearing many, many stories about people and their experiences, and I just, I thought that this would be a good way to kind of just carry that forward. Hey, please be careful. Please be careful with your spiritual journey. So that's what I'm going to name this. Spiritual Journey number 2, part 2. Because there's a spiritual journey already video that I made. But please, please, please make sure you understand what you're getting yourself into. And make sure that you understand whenever you receive something, you better learn how to use it before you try to jump and get other things. Because this faith is about learning, understanding. Our religion is beautiful, but you have to understand it. With that said, Iburu, Iboya, Ibucheche, Cyberland, from the bottom of my heart, my wife's heart, we're here for you. So, thanks for tuning in. Iburu, Iboya, Ibucheche. Happy holidays for everybody out there. Don't party too hard. Ache.